What's up guys, Foxen here. Wasn't that another freaking amazing episode? This is Attack on Titan Season 2 Episode 7. So today's episode is titled Close Combat. Perfectly titled. This is the long-awaited Eren versus the Armored Titan. So right off the bat to start this episode, like the other ones, it starts off with a flashback. At this point, it's pretty much expected for any episode in Season 2. This flashback was for Eren, Reiner, and Bert. Back in Season 1. It was when all these guys were training to become scouts. It's funny because I actually rewatched this episode last night. It goes ahead and shows us the past. Even back then, Reiner was obsessed with his line about returning home. Reiner and Bert did mention that they were from some mountain village, supposedly. There should be a lot more to this, but right now that's all a huge mystery. So on to the armored fight. This is easily the highlight of Attack on Titan Season 2, Eren versus the goddamn Armored Titan. Before going in, I was expecting Eren to get this massive beatdown by the Armored Titan. I mean, he barely got a 1-up versus Annie. How in the world was he gonna be able to do anything versus it? This is supposed to be the goddamn Armored Titan, a veteran warrior. The question on everyone's mind was how long was Eren gonna last? I was thinking, not minutes, but seconds. And also, let's not forget about that other threat, the massive colossal titan in the background. If he wanted to, he could just step on everyone and wipe them all out. So, how was Eren gonna handle these traitors? Oh, and don't forget that Mikasa was there too, helping out. So their fight. Honestly, I really enjoyed this matchup. The progression throughout it really surprised me compared to what I had in mind. Of course, it did start out how you would think. Versus this armored juggernaut, Eren's weak punches could not do crap. Thankfully, one trump card for Eren in this fight was his quick titan regeneration. Which, by the way, what exactly is needed to regenerate quickly? You've seen Annie do it in the past, and even basic titans could also do it. It almost seemed like Reiner in his armor form couldn't even do this, but I'll get back to this. About the armored titan itself, Reiner really should have planned this out a little bit more. This fight has given out way too much information about their titan forms. For starters, that armored titan is super slow with all of that armor. It did seem like it was able to move fast if it wanted to. The cost of moving quickly was likely using up more energy, but most importantly, that gold plating getting damaged. And like I mentioned earlier, it seemed like it was not able to regenerate like Eren could, or at least not as quickly. You've seen Eren do it, Annie do it, and even smaller titans too. Perhaps this is just a case of Reiner never having to do it in battle. I mean, why would he? I imagine that Reiner as the armored titan has never gotten hurt in the past. I also got a feeling that Reiner isn't able to maintain that armor form for that long. Perhaps if he did try to regenerate, that would just cost him way too much energy. In all, this was part of the reason for the armored titan falling. Eren ultimately ended up using Annie's technique to win here, which was freaking awesome by the way. How all of this played out definitely made me buy that Eren earned this win. Really great job using your head to win, Eren. It now seems like Eren is fully able to control his titan form too. Let me know what you thought of how this went down too. I'm gonna be remembering this fight for a while. On to Mikasa. Of course, part of this victory goes to her too. Although one thing I did not like is how they showed Mikasa trying to cut the hard part. I mean, really? At that part, I was screaming, "Come on Mikasa, cut the freaking red tissue, the red tissue." I think you'd agree that the Mikasa we know would have figured that out right away. It's Mikasa. She even does actually take advantage of that later on. It just shouldn't have taken that long. Either way, freaking awesome assist on Mikasa's part. The other interesting part to note for Mikasa was seeing her hesitate to kill Reiner and Bert, or actually just decide against decapitating them. She did go ahead and slice Bert's throat, and Reiner himself got pretty fucked up too. Just think about that. This was Mikasa holding back. Any other person besides these titans would have been dead in seconds from those wounds. So supposedly Mikasa was hesitating due to her being close to these scouts. But was Mikasa ever really close to either of them? I don't think she was, at least not from what they showed you. Instead, Mikasa could have been trying to capture them how they did for Annie, so for the sake of humanity. Next up, the Colossal Titan. This is the third time this huge guy is making an appearance on screen. This time was a pretty kick-ass action scenes from the scouts too. And by the way, the CG on this Colossal Titan looked a lot better on this episode. There's been a lot of mystery behind this 50-meter class ever since the very beginning. It suddenly appeared one day and broke down the gate. Then the second time it appeared to break down some cannons. Now, this time we're getting some insight into why those appearances were so short. This big fellow, the colossal titan, is super slow. Like Bowser turtle level slow. So slow, in fact, that even rookie scouts would have a chance to take it out. What I'm wondering is it always like that? Is this some sort of trade-off specifically for Bert? Like, oh, you could become this monster, but in exchange, you can't do much. Of course, this is just a limitation for their current situation. Take away their 3D gear and plans, this colossal titan will be a walking nuke. I do like how they did officially establish that hot steam defense. It doesn't matter if you're freaking slow if you can't get near it. Maybe all titans are able to do something like that, having some type of defensive ability. The colossal titan can get all hot and sexy. The armored titan can get super hard 24/7. Annie has her crystal ability, but what can Eren do? Right now it seems like high speed regeneration is his thing, but I bet Eren could also get hard too when it counts. The other important thing you should notice this time was the size of the colossal titan. It looked a lot smaller this time in comparison. In addition to that, only the top half of the colossal titan seemed to have appeared. What the hell? I was expecting that wall to have been broken down. Somehow even these guys were trying to be respectful to the walls. Quickly, I do have to mention Coney. This lovable, bald, clueless guy. Really, Coney? You're like the only one that didn't notice that Reiner and Bert went Super Saiyan Titan form. When the truth comes out, it's gonna be like a freaking bomb on him. If he survives, that is. Anyway, so far I do feel like this episode throughout has been the highlight of season 2. It really only matches up with the reveal from the previous episode. That being said, I do have to mention something, a bit of a nitpick. I'm sure by now you've heard of why this season is only getting 12 episodes, or 13. Supposedly, this is due to an animator shortage in Japan, which honestly I don't fully buy. It sounds like some huge excuse. But anyway, in this episode, I did notice a lot of reused footage. I don't know if maybe a third or a fourth of this episode was stuff you've already seen from season 1. It also included some of the neat footage from the movie. Let me know in the comments if you noticed it too. Maybe only I did. Alright, so let me know. Did you enjoy this long-awaited Eren vs Armored Titan fight? Is it also the highlight for you from Attack on Titan Season 2? And just what the hell was up with that freaking cliffhanger? They are way too good with those. Next week, you're getting a conclusion for all of those. Maybe. Definitely be sure to give this a thumbs up and subscribe, especially if you're an Attack on Titan fan. Be sure to check back next week for the finale of this Titan Brawl. Go ahead and check out some of these other awesome videos and I'll see you guys later.